What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, and to follow up yesterday's leak of a ton of on-set shots of Tom Holland from Just Jared, we'll leave a link down in the description below. We actually got a couple of videos of that same setting, and there are a ton of Easter eggs, not only for what's going on with Peter Parker, but the overall plot narrative for Spider-Man 3. We're going to break down all the new photos and set photos, including the one of the board that has all the Easter eggs included. Man, what a doozy to have what's seeming like not a lot going on in a simple set video, to have so many Easter eggs crammed into one. It's actually unbelievable. We're going to break down all the new footage and pictures for Spider-Man 3, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, as well as some brand new Disney Plus subscriptions to celebrate the release of WandaVision. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around at the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, this is the first video posted by thedailymail.com, and I know it's a little grainy, but you can clearly see right there Tom Holland, who's carrying what looks like either a dress, a piece of paper, or a note card. You can see his face a lot more clearer in a couple of frames towards the end of this film, especially when he comes out of the shot. But there were several people who were actually taking still frame pictures of this scene, so we know that that's Tom Holland. You can see right here him clearly holding the card. Now, we know that from other pictures, Zendaya is actually in this shop. MJ's working there, or he's either trying to get in touch with her, and she doesn't look happy to see him, and that may be because of the next video in the Easter eggs that we see here on the board. And this, to me, is what's an absolute doozy. At first glance, might not seem like a lot, but actually has a ton of Easter eggs and plot narrative details. We're going to go ahead and just let you watch the video for a second, and then we're going to go poster by poster for the 3 or 4 important ones that are on here. And again, this was taken yesterday and posted by Atlanta Filming. Now, the first poster, the most important one, is Citizens to Defend Spidey. This goes ahead and confirms that yes, indeed, Spider-Man has all of the stuff that happened in Far From Home pinned on him. It is still a misunderstanding of the highest order, and at least one huge plot detail going forward. He's trying to clear his name, but it seems like there's still a huge sect of people who do understand what happened. Of course, MJ had been there firsthand, and for whatever reason, it seems like they can't tell the truth. But here we know there's going to be at least some part of the population that believes that Spider-Man is good and want to defend him. Now, the other important posters on here, you see a reference to New York, putting this in New York City, but we already knew that, is this Mysterio poster, very clearly Mysterio, that says, "I believe," in the fact that A, he might still be alive, and B, that he was the actual hero of what happened during Spider-Man Far From Home. That plays right into those Citizens to Defend Spidey. There's obviously a clear divide here between those who believe Mysterio was the villain and those who believe that Spider-Man was the villain. Twofold, you can have a huge takeaway here. A, Mysterio still playing a role in the MCU, so for those of us who have sort of conjectured that he may not be actually dead and might play a role in the upcoming Sinister Six crossover, or even just be the main antagonist again during this third film, there's a chance for that, as well as the actions and or what took place during Far From Home still have a huge bearing on what's going on in this next film. Speaking of which, talk about having a huge bearing, the other posters all over that board are still missing Find Our Babies, Bring Our Babies Homes, and there are a ton of them. Those are referencing what happened with the snap in the MCU. Remember, this movie's going to take place right after Far From Home, which took place right after the snap and the blip. Everybody came back. There are going to be tons of families who lost their children in the snap, or children who lost their parents in the snap. They're trying to find each other. They're trying to reunite. And at least for the foreseeable future in the MCU, meaning the films to come in the earliest part of Marvel Phase 4, I suspect this from the TV shows as well, expect them to continue to touch on that and the real life ramifications of how all of this went down. You remember that scene in Spider-Man Far From Home where they showed everybody blipping back. Well, we've still got a couple of years before all of that gets sorted out, and I've always made the joke it's a bit of a plot hole that everybody would get blipped back after half of the population's been gone for 5 years, and then less than 6 months later Peter's high school would be on a overseas international field trip. That seems like a little bit of a stretch. There's a lot in the world that needs to be put back together. That being said, I would expect, again, a lot of these Disney Plus shows and a lot of these movies, when they have the opportunity in scenes that make sense or for some false action, to go ahead and touch on all the ramifications of the blip. Because, you know, what we love about these films is that they're grounded in realism, as fantastic, pun totally intended, as they are. And with that realism comes real-world stakes and real-world problems. Speaking of which, and if Mysterio's still at play and Far From Home's inner workings have now all been put on Spider-Man, making him basically a wanted man, you have to think that the normal trope of Spider-Man trying to defend the ones that he loves and keep them safe when he has a target on his back is now going to be heavily in play. And we've been waiting for some of those sort of normal Peter Parker problems that are in the comics to bleed into his narrative. The Marvel Cinematic Universe and Kevin Feige have been emphatic about not wanting to do what's already been done, about leaving alone the normal boring origin story we've seen a million times on screen for Spider-Man, and picking up with the character where it made sense in Civil War, not having to explain anything. We haven't even seen Uncle Ben, but it's always been part of Spider-Man and always part of his main narrative, that balance between who he is as a superhero and his responsibility to, say, the neighborhood, or who he is as a person, Peter Parker, and his responsibility to protect the ones he loves. Often, what he's doing falls in the balance. If you guys read Spider-Man, you'll know this, or from any of the previous films, and it was only a matter of time before that started to become a thing, especially here in the finishing of his child trilogy as he transitions into an adult. We fully expected this. The only other huge takeaway and final thought I'll leave you with, that if Mysterio still plays a part in this film, and given Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor, I would suspect that he might actually be a bigger part of this film than we would think, and that all goes back to him being quote-unquote from the multiverse. There were a lot of lies told during that film, but that might be true, and if he is, that leads to the multiverse that's going to bring in these other Spider-Men, these other villains, everything we've been talking about up till now. Mysterio may be the key to it all, and we see there from that poster he is still involved. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below about all of this, these Easter eggs on the board, everything Spider-Man 3, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, as well as a ton of new Disney Plus subscriptions to celebrate the release of WandaVision. We're going to be doing those weekly. If you want to be entered to win or any of the future prizes here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, and then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos. The best way to keep up with the content here at the channel, of course, is to hit the notification bell with notifications turned on. And as always, if you enjoyed today's video and analysis of the rest of the content here at the channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me over on Instagram and Twitter with the handle IamFires. You can find me on Spotify with original music, including this song right here, Under All Fires, or even over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Nevellant. There are links down in the description to all of those, guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.